And what would be, if you could surmise, what would be some of the surprises that happened that you realized at the end of your life that you didn't expect in the earlier part of your
Well, that's a wonderful question that I'm somewhat unqualified to answer. I'm hoping I'm not quite at the end of my life, but I
life? No,
am later in life for sure. But well, the thing that I've
latter
noticed,
part, latter
yeah,
part.
the thing I've noticed the most is the change in the nature of students over the years. If I can refer to them as a sort of a palette to paint my answer, in that they are both more open and less open to hearing differently. I say that because first understand this is a if it wasn't already a subtext of my employment history, it's a very religious school and a very conservative area. However, I grew up in the Bay Area. I was born in San Jose, grew up on the peninsula. I came of age, I would say, in the 1960s, as fellow panelists here did, some of them. Um, and so my hearing was already different from that of the students I was working with in radical ways. And so what I thought, it's kind of going back to what Johnny initially said, what I thought was normal was normative for me, but completely alien to them. Many of whom had religious um, biases, to be kind about it, against music that was disorienting in some way to them. To me, the path to spirituality came not being raised as a Mormon, although I was teaching at Mormon University and had joined the church myself. To me, the path to spirituality came through Penderecki and Ligeti score in 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Harry Partch, and those kinds of things that were tantalizing and were all about mystery. And I think that students at the front end of my career were more resistant to sound that was rooted in mystery, but their experience with sound by the last part of my career was so different and so eclectic that they were a little more open. And so, whereas before people would accept me for liking things despite it being weird to them, the appetite for weirdness seemed to be larger on their part in my later years. Does that make sense?
Yes,
There was,
except the challenge is the word weirdness. Other than
yes,
that,
yes. Well, I embraced the word weird. Of course, when I was growing up, weird was a thing that it was an endearing term. So things that we loved. It's like, oh, that's so weird, man. And so, um, but so weird was something we were wired for, you might say, and uh, not so much nowadays. But maybe it's come back, that appetite.
okay.
But yeah, the connotations of the word, that's another discussion, I suppose.
Well,
But it's a value for me.
you get some credit for just having the position of being in front of these young people, and so because you don't feel threatened,
Yeah,
weird, they will become less threatened because
yeah,
it's like the music critic tells people how they're supposed to feel about things,
yeah,
even though
yeah.
they're just talking about themselves.
Yes, I think. Oh, yeah. Students, if they feel they can, their passion detector is always on, and if you have the passion, they'll start to at least listen to what you have to say and to the sponsorship and even the devotion to things that are quite foreign to them. Although part of my task is to point out to them that they all live in a microtonal universe of music, even, whether piano majors, whatever, because they listen to so much popular music, where portamento, for example, is a necessity in vocal music. They're used, I mean, that's in their ears all the time. So the so-called notes between the cracks are part of their hearing, but they don't associate it with their classical training.
So then you have to